Uh, okay. Well, I don't really expect people are going to watch this or whatever because I'm like super late. But for those who might possibly, I apologize for being super late on this. I will make a post game video at some point. I actually have to watch the game because I managed to sleep through it. I took a nap earlier today and managed to sleep through it, so I got to go through it. There's a lot to talk about, and I wanted to talk through the actual game as it progressed. So that's why I decided to do this. Um, I know it's like super late. Like I said, I don't expect anybody to really stick with me through this, but I felt like I needed to do it, so I'm gonna do it. Um, Yeah, so luckily though, with Game Pass, I do have the ability to watch the game. So considering the fact that I managed to sleep through it earlier during my nap, I'm gonna do that now. Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot to talk about. Obviously, the game's over now. Ryan Fitzpatrick has been named the starter. But there's a lot of stuff that I actually do want to talk about too. In addition to that, obviously there's all these trade rumors going on. With the Dolphins maybe trading for Clowney. Apparently, there were reports that the team would riot if they traded Tunsil. As part of that, apparently Brian Flores has told him in private that they're not going to trade him, and so on and so forth. But he, when approached by reporters, said he couldn't comment. I don't know if that's a good sign or not. Um, I don't know. I mean, I think, absolutely, though, I think that the team, but, so the fact that the team is even, possibly on the verge of rioting over these potential rumors is not a good thing. Like, absolutely not a good thing. It just shows that, it looks like Brian Flores doesn't exactly have the team like, people would hope, the backing of the team. And frankly, I think it has a lot to do with the fact that, the stance he took and the approach he took with this whole Kenny Stills thing and why he came out and started, backtracking, in that press conference saying, "Oh, I support them." He didn't say shit though. All he said was, "Oh, I support them because I've lived it." That doesn't fucking mean anything. I'm sure he did live, and has lived through a lot of the discrimination and disenfranchisement. But first of all, that's not the way to really show support for your team, too, or for your players. But just because you've been through it doesn't necessarily mean that you support them. Anyway, so that's a big thing going on. Um, I already told you guys that Fitzpatrick was going to be named starter. I mean, and that's an indictment on Josh Rosen, right? He wasn't able to, pull past Fitzpatrick. And so, anyway, we'll get into all that. I'll obviously talk about it in my post game video. I want to watch this fucking thing now so we can go through it. And yeah, so it's going to go ahead and I wish. Hang on, let me see something. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to. I might be able to like skip through some of this a little bit.
Brian Flores
and actually get to the game
next summer, in particular, when they've got a lot of cap space.
So apparently, too, Jake Ruddick did some things. All right, so the game's gonna start. I'm gonna try and skip through like the commercials and stuff to get through this as fast as I can. But I do want to watch this game and do have like live comments. I mean, the game's not live, but I'm gonna watch it, and I want the my instant reactions to things.
Going to be the starting quarterback. That's already been announced. He is not
okay, so apparently before the game even started, Fitzpatrick was named as the starting quarterback. Jake Ruddick apparently played this game though. So Fitzpatrick and Rosen obviously did not play the game. Everybody except me knows that at this point. So we'll go. Jake Riddick has done some solid things. Dolphins get the ball to start. We're on the 25-yard line. An okay run play to start the game. Yeah, I'm going to skip through all these commercials and stuff because everybody's already watched this. I'm super far behind. My stupid ass fucking slept way too long. I went to take a nap earlier today and fucking slept for like 8 hours. I meant to lay down for like an hour or so, hour and a half, and I fucking slept for like 8 hours. I have the craziest fucking, like I can't fucking, I have no sleep schedule whatsoever. Oh, nope. That was terrible. But that was a pass to Wilson, I think, Albert Wilson. It was a screen pass to try and get him into space, but that was well covered.
What's going to happen to them? And not only that, Stitch, it's not just for
I mean, I know the Dolphins end up winning this game. Obviously, I'm super far behind. All right, let's see. Second or third down and 8. And they lost yardage on that second play. Oh, nice. Yeah. Nice. Good catch by Wilson. Good throw by Ruddock. I like Ruddock, actually. I think he's a good, solid young player, and he's performed pretty well for us overall.
He made a great play on first down. He's just one step behind.
That was solid overall protection, too.
So first down on 3rd and 8.
Man, I swear, though, if they did end up trading Tunsil, ooh, nice run. Nice run, Walton.
I haven't seen running like that in a while. Gain of 14, low man wins.
Yes, and you know it's funny, Joel and John, you mentioned that, okay, we're not seeing the starters.
Damn, he's fucking just...
But these guys are going to play hard.
Yeah, Mark Walton just had a nice run, fucking beasting people there, trucking people and stuff. Good for him. There we go, because he hasn't really done a whole lot up to this point. Patrick Laird's really been pulling ahead of him. But it's good they're moving the ball. Oh, not much there, though. A couple yards.
And not a big guy, but a strong guy, 5'10", 200 pounds. So when we say low man wins, it doesn't take much for him to get low.
Yeah, and that's true. It doesn't take much for him to get low. Also,
all right.
Watch a guy. I always talk about,
you know, but like, I mean, I don't even know, honestly. So I was going to say, too, earlier, if I, did this live, I was going to say, like, I don't even really know what to expect or watch for in this game. I mean, just see who stands out, obviously, is the thing. Jake Ruddock doing some decent stuff. Albert Wilson out there. But see, that's the thing. So, like, they put Albert Wilson out. He got some snaps tonight. But you would think he's going to be in the starting lineup. Of course, there's like nobody from the starting lineup in right now, though.
Double team on the right side, and then Kabusi comes in and prevents
a
first down.
I mean, the
quarterback late finding a seam. Yeah, that's a great effort play right there.
Like the offensive line play right now is a little bit of a mixed bag. They're doing some all right things, but pass to Durham Smythe was not caught, but it looks like there could be a penalty. There is a penalty. Could be on the defense, though. Fouls by both teams offsetting. All right.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Offense number 72. Both penalties offset. Replay 3rd down.
JT Gray.
Okay, so apparently Josh Rosen is making some pretty bold comments. Josh Rosen says he's substantially better than he was 3 weeks ago and way better than he was a year ago. Rosen said it's only a matter of time until this team is mine. Bro, I'm sorry. You're not going to get this team. You're not going to be the quarterback of this team. I mean, I like his confidence and stuff, but he's not gonna have the opportunity. Because again, Fitzpatrick is going to start. I would venture to guess he'll start for at least 2 to 3 weeks before the offensive line breaks down, shows the weaknesses that we already know are there, exposes him. He's either going to get, like I said, he's either going to get hurt because of the offensive line being so bad and get forced to come out, or he's going to perform terrible and then they'll make a switch. But no. Ooh, not a. Come on, that should have been a late hit. What the fuck? There was a fucking a jet, like a. Was it a jet sweep? Yeah, it was a jet. It was like a jet sweep. Look, done. He was still in bounds, but there's no reason to fucking. Come on, the play should have been anyway. Whatever. Look, Josh Rosen's not gonna get this, man. He's not gonna have the fucking. Anyway, but I was saying, oh, yeah, here we go. The offense is actually doing pretty well though so far. Overall, I mean, they're moving the ball decent. Nah, if they traded Tunsil though, I mean, that would absolutely be like the final straw for this coaching staff and regime as far as football decisions go. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear there's already dissension amongst the Dolphins roster with their coaching staff, because just right, like if they did truly support Brian Flores, then there wouldn't be reports that they would revolt if Tunsil got traded. Even if they really like Tunsil and so on and so forth, if the coach had the support enough, they would just trust he's doing the right thing. And so, what offensive pass interference? What the fuck? How? That's retarded.
Guess they wanted the yardage,
right? Yeah, take him out of field range.
But you look, he's the outside receiver here, one-on-one. Patrick Robinson knows where it's going. It's going deep in the end zone.
Oh, come on.
I tell you what, that bodes well for Patrick Robinson. We're talking about depth in the secondary.
Anyway, so yeah, to be clear, Ryan Fitzpatrick was announced the starter prior to the game. Everybody seems to be talking about it now after the game because Brian Flores apparently said it in his post-game conference. But apparently that decision had already been made. Ooh.
After it slowed down, it was Caden Ellis first, and then Jumper came in.
Caden Ellis has definitely distinguished himself this entire preseason.
Mark Walton's getting a lot of work in his first series. They're doing all right overall. I mean, they're down in the red zone. They just had they're going to go for a field goal, though.
Young man was all rookie last season. Out of New Mexico State, a 7th-round pick, Jason Sanders. He was 18 of 20. He's going to get 46-yard attempt on the opening possession for Miami.
46-yard attempt, and it looks good.
And dead down the
yep.
middle again. So
and it is good.
In his rookie season, half his 20 attempts came from beyond the 40, so no big deal for Sanders. Jumper on the head.
Nah, bro, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Motherfuckers don't ever want to listen, bro. I'm telling you, this season is going to devolve super quick. Watch. Oh, not to mention, Hurricane Dorian is approaching Florida. And so, I guarantee I'll be the first place that, talks about this, the first person that talks about this. But there's potential for, more hurricane issues with the team coming up because it's approaching Florida and could be a Category 4. So don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if that becomes an issue. Yeah, I am just watching it. I'm watching it on Game Pass. I get to watch it because, they do have it available. But I went to take a nap earlier at around noon for like an hour, and I ended up sleeping for like 8 hours. I set alarms, but it didn't help anything. I slept straight through them and so I'm watching it now. I know I'm super late. But I did want to, watch through it and have a stream going at the same time so I could react live to everything that's happening. Even though I know some of the commentary is going to be regarding, stuff that we already know and stuff that that's already come into existence. I'm super late. I know. I'm super late. Anyway, so I mean, obviously everybody already knows what happens, but I wanted to make sure to have my reactions in a live stream to what happened. So I am watching the game now. I mean, we did have a solid first drive. There was that kind of ticky-tack, I'd say, offensive pass interference on us. But Jake Rudick in the first team, Jake Rudick moved the ball decent. They got down into the red zone, scored a field goal, so it's not terrible things. Yeah, I know Fitz has been announced. I mean, everybody's talking about it right now, but apparently, the commentary from the game, the commentators even said that Fitzpatrick has been named the starter at the beginning of the game. So apparently that was a thing prior to now. I know Brian Flores obviously was talking about it in his post-game press conference, but apparently that, was already the case. So, but I knew that. I mean, I've told y'all in my videos, Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to be the starter, and he's going to start until at least he's going to start for a few weeks at least, but he's going to start until he either gets hurt because the offensive line is so bad and he gets hammered the whole time, or he's going to fucking come out because he plays so bad behind a terrible offensive line that Josh Rosen is finally going to get put in. Why? But it'll be a couple weeks. It'll be, I would say, at least 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks before that ends up happening. And I said this a minute ago. I appreciate, Rosen's confidence and so on and so forth, but he's not this. He said that it's only a matter of time before this team is his. Look, I don't think that's going to be the case because I don't think he's going to have the opportunity. I think he's a solid quarterback that could be good in this league, but he's not going to have the chance in Miami because he does have some significant flaws that he needs to work on, and he could overcome those things, but he's not being put in a position to succeed here in Miami. In this entire rebuild, the offensive line is going to be terrible. He actually has to sit behind Ryan Fitzpatrick for, whatever amount of time, where he didn't have to do that last year. He was the starter right away. So, I don't think that all of the, with all the data we have right now. Yeah. Oh, look, it's Darren Rizzi. Oh man, I so wish he was on our fucking team. Losing him, that's there's been so much shit going on with this team that I completely forgot about that. We lost Darren Rizzi in the offseason. I mean, this team is just a shell of its former self, dude. All right. The one good thing is I can skip through these commercials. Okay, and so after this commercial break, it looks like, the Saints punted. So the defense held up. That's good. And now it's back to our offense. Come on.
The final play out. Welcome back to the Dome. First and 10 is Walton. Tried to crack it over the left side. They stay in number 11.
All right, not much of a run on first down. It is still 3-0 Dolphins.
We see a lot of the offense and the defense, but doesn't get enough credit, especially this fourth game of preseason as a special team.
Yeah, but I mean, again, though, so this game, yeah, I mean, again, goddamn, it's hard to even. First of all, before I even say what I was about to say, it's hard to even evaluate this team because the starters like almost didn't play at all throughout the preseason, right? They didn't play, half the starters were out in game 2, half the starters were out last game during the, dress rehearsals. So how do you even properly evaluate the starting squad, or the quality of this team? And frankly, a lot of the best production that's come, particularly on offense, has been from the backup units. And a lot of those guys aren't going to be on the team. But, going into this game, well, so like, what do you evaluate? Well, you just see who sticks out. I mean, Mark Walton's been doing some good things. Jake Rudick has, been doing solid for us overall in the preseason when he's played. But I mean, look, I stand pretty firm in how I think things are going to happen. I think the starting offensive line is going to be shambles. It's going to be just terrible. And I think our quarterbacks are just going to get hammered. I don't think that they're going to, move the ball well or have much production. The defense is going to hold us into games. Oh, man. Yeah, that was a brilliant throw. I really like Jake Rudick. I think he's a solid look. So that's why, man, God damn it. I wish they would have done things so much differently, bro. Because I really think that the decisions that they've made are really setting themselves up for immense failure. I don't think that this team is going to have any success this year. I don't think that they're going to be a surprise contender or whatever. We're probably not. My estimate is we won't win more than 3 or 4 games. And then, look, there's already a lot of early signs. Again, the dissension that is apparent. Whoa! Bryce Butler making a beautiful catch.
And unfortunately, as you said, someone's going to take them. These guys are good, and they're coming off of a very good season. They want to have those guys to get a great value. But watch this catch.
Yeah, that was a nice grab by Bryce Butler. Yep, and he managed to secure it. Didn't touch the ground. Nice.
Adjusting in the backfield, the running back on the play, Patrick Laird.
I feel like we're gonna be in the mid of the pack.
Yard and a half rookie.
Yeah. I honestly, bro, like if we were 7-9, 8-8, I would, based off of my evaluation of how things are going and my expectations, I would love that. I don't think it's going to be the case. I think we let way too many guys go that we should have kept in the offseason. I disagreed completely with the purge that they did. There were some guys they got rid of that I agreed with, like Andre Branch, right? He was a guy I was like, all right, get rid of him. But I absolutely would have done everything in my power to keep Jawan James and keep that fucking line intact as much as possible. I would have kept Josh Sitton at least into camp. Although, again, to be fair, he did end up retiring, I'm pretty sure. I would have made sure that Cam Wake stayed on the team. I would not have let him go. I would have not have traded Ryan Tannehill. I would have kept him easily over Ryan Fitzpatrick. And then I would have done the draft totally different. I would have not taken a defensive lineman in the first round, especially considering before we got to our pick, there was a massive run on defensive linemen, thereby making the crop a lot thinner in that first round. But so, we decided to take a defensive lineman. I would have taken an offensive lineman. None had gone off the board by the time we got to our pick. And the top offensive lineman, Garrett Bradbury, didn't even go until pick number 17 to the Vikings. I would have taken Garrett Bradbury. I would not have picked up Josh Rosen. We have Jake Rudick on the roster who's been performing very well and could be a young quarterback to groom up. This is obviously information that we only have now at this point after a few preseason games, but he has shown to be doing good things, and at the very least, he could be on the practice squad. But I would have had Ryan Tannehill, and then I would have picked up Will Grier in the third round. I would not have traded for Josh Rosen and gave away additional draft capital, including the second-round pick from this year's draft. With that second-round pick, I would have come back to get a defensive lineman after, again, having taken the best offensive lineman in the draft in round 1. And then I would have gotten quarterback Will Grier in round 3. And I did I went back and did like a reshuffling of the picks. We could have gotten Will Grier, in the third round. Our pick was a lot further ahead than when he actually got picked. So that's what I would have done things. And I think that this coaching staff and regime is just making all the almost like the worst decisions they can make. And especially too, because there have been reports that, the team would riot if they traded Tunsil. Now, I think it's highly unlikely that they will trade Tunsil, in a Jadeveon Clowney trade. Again, though, real quick on that, I'm against the trade. We're not one guy away from, being a contender, first and foremost. Two, the defense is going to be our strong suit. It's the offense, particularly the offensive line, that needs to have work. And so if you traded your only, legit, consistent offensive lineman for, a linebacker or whatever that you don't really need, plus he's going to have a high price tag, there's just a lot of problems with that. So I disagree with trading for Clowney at all. You'd probably have to give away draft capital, blah, blah. I disagree with that trade to begin with. But then if you traded Tunsil, then at that point, that would be the stupidest fucking thing you could do. And I would personally, I've disagreed with almost every decision they made. Extending Xavier Howard, I thought was brilliant. Extending Jakeem Grant, I thought was great. But, there's some language in that contract that makes me feel like, whatever. So I think that, but anyway, so, with the potential, at the very least, there's a potential that there is a dissension amongst the ranks in the Dolphins locker room because of the stance that Brian Flores took with this whole Kenny Stills thing. There's a lot of players, I bet, on the team that didn't like how he took, the approach that he took, especially because Kenny Stills is is a highly respected player on this team. I'm a Clowney fan, but yeah, bad trade. Yeah, he doesn't want to be here because he realizes that the Dolphins are not going to be a contender. And that's another thing. He could just be here for 1 year at the end of the day because he still has to sign his franchise tag, which he hasn't done. But that would make him a really expensive player for us if we did bring him in. We lead the league in dead money this year at $44 million last time I checked. Look, I just personally think that this coaching regime is okay, so at this point in time, I've been trying to give them every benefit of the doubt. I've been trying, I personally disagreed with them firing Adam Gase. I think they should have given him more time. But, I've tried to give them as much credit as I possibly could. But at this point, look, man, I just got to say, the benefit of the doubt for Brian Flores, for even Chris Greer and this regime, the entire regime, is super thin. They are on super thin ice with me. Because I have disagreed from a football perspective. I've disagreed with 95% or more of the moves that they made. And then from a personal perspective, I fundamentally disagreed with how Stephen Ross handled it. First of all, I'm done with Stephen Ross. He's proven to me he can't make a sound football decision. And when he decided to support Donald Trump and have that fundraiser for him, I completely, I'm done with him. As far as I'm concerned, Stephen Ross needs to sell the team and he needs to stop being an owner. But Brian Flores lost a lot of respect for me with his approach to Kenny Stills. Him saying that, I wish he would have spoke to Stephen Ross first and that he needs to be a company man. Nah, fuck that, bro. That's some sellout shit to me, and that just says to me that he thinks that, Kenny Stills should fucking bow his head. And then on top of that, then there's trade rumors and stuff that they might trade him. Nah, bro. I'm telling you, he's losing. He's losing a lot of the people. He's losing a lot of the people on the team, a lot of the players on the team. I guarantee you that there are a lot of players on this team. Like I said, Kenny Stills is a highly, highly respected member of this team. And I guarantee you there's a lot of people. And so we got another field goal, 6-0. I guarantee you there's a lot of players on this team that looked at his approach and were like, nah, that's fucked up. That's not right. He did not handle this at all. And then, after those initial comments, it took him like the third attempt to finally backtrack and be like, oh, no, but I support what they're doing. But he didn't even say shit in that fucking press conference. Nothing of substance. Yeah, I don't think this regime is gonna have any kind of fucking success. And a lot of people fucking hate on me for it, and they're like, "Oh, you're just negative, this, that, and the other." Nah, man, I'm just keeping it real, bro. But watch, I'm telling you, I'm gonna be proven right, and everybody's gonna bitch and moan and complain about it, but it's cool. It's all good, man. Because I'm still gonna be here to speak the truth and tell everybody exactly fucking how it is, whether they want to fucking admit to it or not. All that shit, I don't care, man. I just gotta keep it real.
See that defender on the outside? He didn't want him to take it and lead him to continue running and get popped for a big hit. Just Emmanuel has to catch it, stop, and then catch it. At the end of the night, they'll see it as an incomplete pass and not realize it's a drop.
All right, let's see.
Great pass protection.
So, all right, let's talk about this game a little bit, though, for sure, because I am watching. Yeah, dude, look, totally. I do think that the defense, I've been saying this for a minute, I think that the defense is going to be the strong suit. The problem is, first of all, Brian Flores is being stupid. Like, there was no reason to get rid of TJ McDonald. That was just a foolish move. But aside from that, the defense is going to get worn down, and they're gonna start getting exposed. Whatever weaknesses, because they do have some kind of weakness. I'm not entirely sure what it is at this point, because they actually have played pretty well overall. But they will, whatever their weaknesses are, will get exposed because they're going to be on the field for far too long. They're going to get worn down. They're going to be super tired all the fucking time because the offense is not going to help them out, right? The best offense production we've seen has come from Jake Rudock and like the third, fourth, and fifth string guys. But a lot of those guys are not going to be on the team, so on and so forth. So, I mean, the offensive line is going to be terrible. It's going to expose whichever quarterback is back there for the flaws that they have, right? It's going to start off being Fitzpatrick, and then the offense is going to struggle immensely, which is going to cause the defense to be on the field for far too long. They're going to get worn down, and their success is going to get vastly overshadowed because the team is going to be losing and being, just total shit this whole year. So I feel you, man. I do think that, the defense could be fun. There's a lot of potential. There's a lot of talent there. So on and so forth. But again, I think it's going to be immensely overshadowed by, the horrible play of the offense, and then thus the,
Yes, it brings the excitement. I think for the rest of the
constant bad play and defeat of this team overall.
If I get this guy a seam, he can do something special with it.
Can they get 5 here to keep the drive?
All right, so nope. All right, so it looks like the defense holds tough there. So yeah, I mean, I haven't even watched this game yet, but it's based off of the final score, because I did see the final score, and based off of what I've seen so far, I would venture to guess that the defense once again played well overall. But it does look we won this game obviously because our offense actually played okay and played some complimentary football. But again, that's the quarterback that we expect will probably be on the practice squad, Rudock, and then Jake Rudock, and then, a bunch of guys that probably won't even be on this team, third, fourth, and fifth string guys that probably won't even be on this team. All right, at least I am able to fucking skip through these fucking commercials, though. That is the bright side of being able to do this, or of doing this now and be able to do this on Game Pass. All right, so
As you can see,
our next drive's coming up.
Domination by Miami controlling the football, but competition is healthy, and these two guys know it more than anybody else. And that's Taysom Hill, along with Teddy Bridgewater on the sideline. And things obviously are going to change a little bit when those two guys are out there.
Well, hopefully the supporting cast doesn't let the quarterback down like they have for Teddy Bridgewater in the last drive.
All right. First down for the 25. Good cut. Miami's got good yardage again from Walton on first down, so he's back in there. And I know you want to talk about the guys from the U, but we didn't even bring up the Florida game at all.
Yeah, man,
we're our good friends, aren't we, Jonathan?
Nice.
Aren't we good guys?
This squad of like super backups right now is performing pretty well. But you know, none of the Saints starters and shit are out there too. These are all guys on the Saints who are vying for fucking, you know, spots on the roster, right? So I mean, it's not like they're playing at the top tier against the top tier talent and shit, right? So like that's why it's hard to even be excited about this success that is going on right now, because again, half these guys are not even going to be on the team, and they're not playing against, you know, the Saints starting lineup. So I would venture to guess that if the Saints starting lineup came out and played against these guys, then they would just crush us. And that's reasonable because we're at third string and beyond. Obviously, this is the final preseason game, so it's all backups versus backups to evaluate and see who's going to be on the squad.
Rudock evades it and puts it wide. His intended target looking for Bryce Butler.
Well, I'll tell you what, Beagle was getting some really good pressure off the end.
But that's the thing too, is you know, even though right now they've had decent success, this, you know, offensive line has been, you know, kind of a mixed bag. They've done some all right things, but and so we're punting now. We're down to 10 minutes in the second quarter. Well, at least I am getting to fucking breeze through this.
Exactly. Don't forget, guys, he's one of those that joined the team after the first couple of weeks of the season.
Yeah, honestly, I'm gonna be looking forward to making.
Arizona State Racing lets it go. Yeah, but it cost him about 6-7 yards, didn't it?
Yeah. Yep. That was I was a solid punt. Honestly, you know, considering the fact that I am so behind right now, I'm really just looking forward to making my post-game video. But I did want to watch this game and have some live reactions to it and stuff.
Richly rewarded, and deservedly so, during the offseason.
Yeah, so the offense, nothing mixed about the O-line. We don't have much there. Yeah. Well, look, man, you know, I'm trying to be as fair as I possibly can. And, you know, I mean, there have been some good, you know, some good things. But, yeah, no, I totally agree, especially, like, once we get to the starting lineup, man, there's going to be, you know, to be as nice about it as I possibly can, you know, there's a lot to be desired with that offensive line. A lot to be desired, at the very least. But like I said, I mean, my evaluation, my perspective is this offensive line is going to be atrocious, and it's going to expose the quarterbacks, and then we're going to have, you know, a super shitty offense with a solid, good defense, but that, you know, gets tired, worn down, and then overshadowed by the terrible offense and the fact that we're going to be losing. We have a tough schedule, too. It's not like we have some fucking... You know, it's not like we have weak teams on the schedule. We start with the Ravens, for fuck's sake. Which it's in Miami. I'm pretty sure the game is in Miami, but still.
This is Sean trying to say, okay, we have...
You know, that home field advantage. Unfortunately, I don't think that we're going to... Especially because I can't imagine that the fan base, you know... I mean, I can't imagine the fan base... overall in its entirety is, you know, going to be overwhelmingly supporting the team there. Like,
the first three that are fighting, most likely would dump off.
We'll see what happens, but
first down, well timed with Teddy Bridgewater to get it out for first down to the 30.
Yeah, that was a good one.
All right, so it's still 6-0.
Six wide receivers.
Saints are on the field.
You may see more than that. You may see 7 wide receivers. Again, going back to Deontay Harris, if he doesn't cut it at the wide receiver spot, it's not like they're going to cut him.
No.
Right? He has a spot at the special teams as a returner. So now they're going to look at other guys
Ha.
and they stay.
Yeah, man,
See
I
them
feel
either
you.
Take them in and out as the injuries
Look, I
start
just,
to happen.
unfortunately, I think this team has only gotten worse. I don't think that we're going to be 7-9 or 8-8. I think we've gotten worse.
Outside of the tackle box, just off the fingertips.
Be right back. 1 second.
Going up high was Michael Burton. He's the second fullback on the squad. This year out of Rutgers.
What's Bridgewater extending the play? He's trying to create space. Emmanuel Butler's trying to find a little opening to give him an option, but really there was nowhere to go with the ball.
Good
All right.
coverage by the Dolphins.
Um,
Yeah, good coverage by the Dolphins.
It'll be second and 10.
You know, I'm also, frankly, I'm ready to just get to the regular season, bro, because I'm done. Like, I've had enough of this speculation. Like, I want the results. I want to see how this team performs on the field, you know, during live bullets. I want to see our starting unit. We haven't really even seen the starting unit in the preseason. So I want to see them. I want to see how they play, and I want to start having, you know, I just want to see the real thing. You know, because right now it's all speculation. After we actually have games decided, then it won't be speculation anymore. Then we'll know. We'll have, you know, results, and we'll have definitive evidence to say one way or the other.
That's exactly it. Put that
I'm super ready, man. I'm super ready for. His name is Lil Jordan. Lil Jordan. I swear, it's like that. It's like whoever this dude's. It's a Saints wide receiver named Lil Jordan. Lil apostrophe Jordan. It's like that. His parents were trying to make him a rapper from birth by naming him that. Yo, we're gonna name our kid Lil Jordan, and he's guaranteed to be a rapper. I mean, hey, look, he turned out to be a wide receiver for the Saints. You know, he is like a super backup, so who knows if he'll stick, but he was successful, so good for him. Just not as a rapper. All right, looks like they got a first down.
Yeah, no, that was actually a really good cut by Zigbo. It tells me he understands.
Yeah, bro, I'm so ready. I'm so ready for the regular season now, man. I want to get to it.
First down, get another set of downs and move on. That's a great job by him.
I want to get to the real shit, man.
We don't need you to hit a home run right here. We need a yard and a half.
I'm ready.
Patience. Yeah.
I'm ready.
Drive started back at the Saints 7. Their best drive by far. Out of the gun, the dump. It's a Zigbo. Well, I'll tell you something, though. The young man does not quit. He is a very physical running back.
And he showed good hands. I mean, he's been able to catch the ball out of the backfield.
Oh, good Lord.
And it's hard for the first guy to bring him down. You have to like what you see from him.
I like what I see.
Dude, I don't know why. Lil Jordan, I'm going to get ready for Ben Mango.
I think he's on the good side.
So,
All right, brother.
So
I appreciate it. Yeah, Lil Jordan.
Does it really matter?
Thanks for. Yeah, no worries, man. Hey, look, normally I do my live streams during the game. And I will be absolutely doing live streams for all the games. Obviously, I can't show the game because it's illegal as fuck, but I will be doing live streams. I appreciate the sub, man. Definitely get up in here and I talk with y'all. Like, I respond. If you leave comments on my videos, I make it a point to respond to you guys. You know, y'all help me make this what it is. So I appreciate you, man. Get some sleep, and I'll see you soon, hopefully.
I like that. Try to cut me. Try to cut me.
There's
32 teams that will
watch this
film every game across the board. And you know, if you're the Saints, you say, can we stash him on the practice squad?
No, he's gonna be gone.
So then you're going, all right, that's one less.
You got to keep him on the roster.
Safety that we'd love to keep, but that's the argument that you're going to have to play. How many snaps can we get from these guys when we can only dress 45 on a Sunday?
Yeah, and then play. Can they get these?
Come on.
There, hold, and a grab. Touchdown Saints. Emmanuel Butler, despite being held.
Yeah, that was a pretty obvious hold.
Great throwing catch.
There was no flag simply because Butler made the catch.
That's the type of play that we've been talking about with Emmanuel Butler. Every time we ask
Lil
players, hey,
Jordan.
who's been playing well, who's been popping
That
off
is
for you
funny.
guys in
Dude's
practice,
name
they
is
say
Lil
Emmanuel
Jordan.
Butler.
I mean, like, I'm not trying to hate on him. I just think that's super interesting. I swear, man. Like, his parents really wanted the dude to be a fucking rapper right from the jump.
Snatches the ball out of the air for a touchdown.
All right, so they did just tie it. They're going for the extra point.
Started back at the 7. Makes the run of the pass well. A couple of big pass plays. As Will Lutz punches it through. And just like that, with 4 plus to play in the half, Saints didn't do much earlier, did they?
All right, it's now 7-6, the Saints. And look, but they scored a touchdown. We've only been able to muster 2 field goals. So that's not even encouraging. So the best offensive performance we have is coming from our backups. But in this game, they've only been able to score 2 field goals.
In comparison, don't forget the Saints were 3rd in the NFL, a little over 31 points a game. So they bring in a defensive coordinator as a new head coach, and then they're going to go with the experience, not a second-year quarterback. They're in rebuilding mode. We'll get into what they have because they got a ton of picks. In fact, they've got 12 draft choices in the next one.
For now, yeah, we have 12 picks next year until we start giving away those fucking draft picks unnecessarily.
I hear that, Joel, with the draft picks and the cap space, but football is a now league. It is not a future league.
Well, that's tough, though. That they've been waiting for a while in Miami. You know that.
Exactly. All the more reason why they need to worry about the now instead of the future. You talk about coaches now don't even get the 3 years. I mean, the Arizona coach last year got fired after 1 season, so nothing's guaranteed.
That was Les Horton who blew up that play.
I'm telling you, man, this regime is not gonna last because they're not doing anything right. I mean, they've done a couple things, but they're setting themselves up for immediate failure. They're setting themselves up for future failure.
Pressuring the quarterback on the second, so he's a guy that primarily is a linebacker, but
he has some pass rushing ability. Yes.
I'm telling you, man, don't nobody want to listen to me. Everybody wants to hate and shit like that and fucking just talk shit. But I'm telling you, man, this situation is gonna devolve super fast for this team.
They really lost Isaiah Ford on that coverage, didn't they?
Yes, they did. And again, we talk about it's not confusing. These calls that they're putting in, they're not confusing. They're frankly probably the same call every time, to be honest with you. And the fact that they can't execute, then that starts to let the coaches know who can process or not. This is unfortunate to see Patrick Robinson down right now.
Yeah, especially coming off the injury that he sustained last year, that wiped out most of his season.
Yes.
So 10 years in the league trying to make it. And we figure we're going to see him out there because it's tight in the battle in the secondary.
He's right here on your screen. Let's see if we can pick up anything on the tackle.
Is it friendly fire more than anything else?
He might have been rolled up on.
Sankey.
Doesn't look like there's a lot of.
If you look at his down by his ankle, a little contact. It looks like Sankey might have rolled on his ankle a little bit. Hopefully he's okay. He's walking off, which is good.
Good sign.
Yeah.
Just an immediate sharp pain,
But
probably.
still, they will get the 10 ready to be evaluated. So it's a first down in the long throw to Isaiah Ford, a Virginia Tech, their 7th round a couple of years ago. Walked the single on a play fake. Too much time, and Rudick will find
Nice.
again the tight end who he hooked up with before. That's Chris Myrick, the rookie out of Temple. You can almost see that.
Oh, Myrick, he's a tight end. I thought he was interesting. He's been doing some good things too.
3 verticals,
Myrick.
max protection in the backfield, giving time for the routes to develop. And as I said, very impressed with Rudolph right now. Look where he places the ball over the backer, in between the safety. Safety can't make the play. Benjamin comes, tries to break it up. Great call.
Yeah, see, I really like Jake Rudick.
Nice adjustment by Walton, bouncing to the outside, close to a first and goal. He's out of the 6. It'll be second and short. Crawley forces him out, and that takes us to the 2-minute warning. Saints with a 1-point lead over Miami.
All right, come on. Yeah, I need to get through this for reals because I need to make my post-game video because there's a lot to talk about. I already know everything I'm going to talk about. Honestly, like,
Cox, proud partner of the New Orleans Saints.
let's get through this. I definitely want to watch this whole thing. So, offense is moving well. 2 minutes left in the second quarter. Close. Come on. That's all right. No, it's not Jakeem Grant. Grant's not even fucking playing. What's wrong with you?
I'll tell you what, the Saints' red zone defense is something to really brag about.
I think that's Trent Irwin.
The Dolphins have been down there, and I understand it's simple, but it's been executed
Or no.
very well. The Dolphins have
Maybe it's
been
Allen
making
Hurns.
combinations there, trying to work their offense, and the Saints have picked it up every time. That's frankly the only reason why the Saints are winning right now.
8-3, Walton's going to get it as he spins inside the 2.
Walton's been doing some tough running, man.
In the first, Walton set it up early on the ground.
Yes.
But Jake Rudick is their third cornerback on the depth chart. And if he's not with Miami, he's 12 of 15, guys. He's only got 3 misses so far, 150 yards. He's really
He's going to be with somebody.
in control.
Yes, you can tell he has a good command of the offense. He understands not only the offensive plays, but the defensive plays as well.
Yeah, this Jake Rudick kid is good.
It's Walton going low. And he's got it one. It's going to be second and goal from there.
Second and goal. Come on, punch it in, guys.
Well, for this Saints defense, they've been bending, right? I mean, it's all the Dolphins have been able to run the ball pretty effectively. They've been cut up a little bit with the passing game, but you look at the scoreboard and they've come away with 2 field goals. Another big defensive stand right here, and you have to be impressed that they've been able to keep the Dolphins out of the end zone.
Yeah, the only reason the Saints were up right now, 7-6. This is going to be a huge play right before the end of the half. Second down.
Come on.
A moral victory. We're not taking those all the time, but a moral victory to open the 3 right here.
And good penetration. Walton gets it up to you. You got it. Good penetration at the point of attack. That's tough sledding inside.
Yeah, man. See, we need to be a lot better at this goal line shit, for real.
This goal line type of 4 downs, 1 yard to go, score, and that type of scenario. You don't get to practice that a lot. And fortunately, this is really, really good practice for these guys right now. They're holding up, man. It's strong.
Come on. Punch this in, man. Punch it in.
Which, let's be honest, I have seen more eye backfield from the Dolphins than I've seen in an NFL game in quite some time.
Yeah, this is the old Patriots, right? Florence went way back to get this offensive speed.
When I was preparing for the game, guys, they have this picture of Nick Bonaconte. Undersized middle linebacker, 5'11", 220.
Come on. Punch this in, for fuck's sake. Let's go.
This kind of sequence. It'll be third goal of the 2. Ruda on the roll, back of the end zone.
Yeah, baby. There we go.
He finds Reese Horn.
Or Reese Horn. That's who that is.
15-pound wide receiver on a breakdown of the coverage.
Yeah, breakdown of the coverage.
Cool.
Yeah, the corner and the
Although I'm pretty sure that's the only touchdown because I think we won with 16, right? So that means that we're going to get another field goal, and that's it. Yeah, we won with 16 to 13. So the defense held up overall, which is good because that shows that we do even have solid depth across the defense. But again, man, I mean, they're just going to get worn down and overshadowed by the fucking how putrid the fucking offense is going to be. But at least they finally fucking punched it in. But, I mean, they still did get 3 field goals. If those were all touchdowns, then it would have been 28 to fucking whatever. That's why even our best offensive performance comes from our backups, and they still only manage to get fucking field goals for the most part.
And the linebackers, it's a similar play which we just saw the Dolphins execute, but Lil Jordan Humphries is a big target running down.
Lil Jordan, that is a fucking interesting name.
That's what I love about football.
His name is Lil Jordan.
Plays are you getting? But it's about what do you do when you get those plays? Are you being productive? And we always talk about production. That's it right there. You say, look, I got a 6'4" guy in the slot. Everyone knows it. We still make 30-yard receptions. That's great football. So 10-play, 75-yard drive. Racing.
So apparently, the Texans have offered Jadeveon Clowney and a first-round pick to get Tunsil. Bro, if they do that, or if they trade Tunsil, that's it. This regime is done, personally and professionally. They've already.
Bridgewater did Swiss Army knife. Yeah, we got the. So Taysom Hill, Bridgewater did enough to get a job.
I think Taysom needs some reps at victory formation.
All right, so that's done. Okay, come on. Let's get into the second half now.
We've reached the halfway point of preseason game number 4 between the Saints and Dolphins. 13-7 Saints.
Yeah, I don't care about the fucking.
He did make up for it. He had another catch right after the drop, which kind
Come
of
on.
can't.
I want to get to the game so I can finish watching this
Say
shit.
for Carr. That means we're going to see more of them. They don't want to show a lot for the regular season. No doubt.
Come on.
First 30 minutes of play.
All right, come on.
Well, he had a nice catch down the sideline and then went over the cornerback.
It's going to receive the kickoff.
Saints receive the second half kickoff.
Taysom will never.
All right.
No, not at all.
Let's see that. Let's see that.
Matt get him going to the lineup as well. I'm interested to see
Taysom
how
Hill.
he's going to perform because, yes, he was drafted in the 7th round, but can easily be a practice squad guy if he doesn't perform and give some production.
Straight deep drop. Taysom Hill.
Oh, nice sack. Yeah, baby. See, I mean, you know, I've been watching this game though, and I'm so obviously I'm fucking way behind because my stupid ass went to take a nap earlier and slept far too long. So I'm watching this shit hella late. But I've been watching it, and you know, I mean, it's exactly what's to be expected.
No, yeah, good coverage by the Dolphins.
Oh, hey man, I'm doing all right. Life's a struggle. As always, there's always a lot going on. My life's always super crazy, but you know, I'm pushing through, man. And yeah, I'm watching this game on Game Pass like super late because I fell asleep earlier, or I laid down to take a short nap and slept way too long. So I'm just trying to get through this as fast as I can. But it's pretty much what I expected, though. The defense has been holding, or what I would think, you know, what I would expect is the defense is, you know, continuing to hold pretty solid, doing some good things. The offense is actually doing pretty well overall tonight. Although, since I know the game's over and I already know the score, we only get it's 13-7 right now. The second half just started, and we only get a field goal for the rest of the game. So, and all the best offensive production we've had has come from back like third string guys, which is not very encouraging.
I can't accept when you say as loud as Drew Brees.
Did you hear that cheer?
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Quarterback just went in the game.
You say
These folks
it
cheer.
was almost as loud as when Drew Brees goes on. He's a wildcat. Exactly.
He gets excited about that Wildcat. Thomas Morstead with a beauty. TJ Ramming waiting back. He'll call for the fair catch. He's got it cleanly at his own 15. So Miami has it for the first time in the second half. Deep in North territory after a 54-yard punt.
Yeah, man. I mean, I do too. Like, I hope that they do well. I just, everything that's been going on. I mean, I'm sure you've been watching my videos, man. I'm not convinced with the evidence and the information that I have available to me. I don't think it's going to be a good year at all. And I think that this coaching regime and this office, this coaching staff and the front office, the regime, I think that they've been setting themselves up for failure, both in the immediate and for the future. I don't think that they're making right decisions. And I think Brian Flores is losing the team already because of how he approached the Kenny Stills thing. And I mean, that's even partly evident by the fact that there were, reports that the team would riot. How often do you hear shit like that? That the team would riot if they traded Tunsil. But apparently there is still that possibility that the Texans offered Jadeveon Clowney and a first-round pick for Tunsil. Bro, if they did that, I'm absolutely done with this entire regime, bro.
It's been everything to me, and I've just been so blessed to have this opportunity, and I hope I did everything in my power to make you guys happy. And the Super Bowl was amazing, and I can't wait to see how these guys do this year. So again, I'm taking this time through that nation. I'm stepping away from the game of football, but I love you. I'll always love you guys. I'll always be here. So thank you.
Well said. Congratulations. You've had a great career.
One thing I want to
yeah.
These two here.
Yeah, well, there's one thing I want to go back against.
Yeah, no, I mean, personally, I'm done with Stephen Ross. Stephen Ross needs to sell the team, in my opinion. He's proven, Stephen Ross has proven to me that he cannot make a good, sound football decision. I appreciate everything that he's done in the community. I love the fact that he rebuilt the stadium out of his own money. I think the owners should do that. And, I've backed him. Completely lost me because, then that's on a personal, level. Like, he violated some of my fundamental morals and beliefs by doing that. And so, I don't think he can make a football decision, and I personally disagree with him now. So I think Ross needs to sell the team. But Brian Flores has lost a lot of respect from me when he decided to support Stephen Ross over Kenny Stills. And that was pretty evident in his initial comments, saying that Kenny Stills needs to be a company man and talk to Ross first. Nah, fuck that. Because if he did talk to Ross, Ross would have been like, no, you shouldn't say those things. Okay. Nah, Kenny Stills has done the right thing, and Flores should have been more supportive, should have shown his support right from the fucking get-go instead of saying, he needs to fucking talk to Ross and be a company man. No, that's some sellout shit. And I guarantee you there's a lot of people on the team, a lot of players on the team that were super unhappy with that and how he handled that situation.
Go back to those practice days when the defense used to kick your butt. Wow. Right? Let's talk about those days. Listen, I just want to know.
Offense is again moving, though. All right.
I just want to know, what was that feeling like?
Okay. There you go.
Because I felt like we
But
made you better.
I agree. Clean house with the stadium. You have to agree with that as well. I was happy that it helped with that issue. But Ross's two issue, why you jump once? Yeah.
Every single Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, man, I think that, unfortunately, we're going to have a couple years, 2 or 3 years of just a lot of disappointment and a lot of major problems. Because here's the thing, I don't think that Brian Flores is going to get his full 5-year contract. I just don't at this point, flat out. And it's going to be from a production standpoint, but it's also, I think, going to be from a personal standpoint, because I think that there's going to be a rift between him and a lot of the players. Although at the end of the day, he'll probably just end up like cutting or trading those players that he has a problem or that have a problem with him, like Kenny Stills. I mean, there have been reports that they might be trading him soon, right? And then all of a sudden, Kenny Stills ends up in a fucking a leg sleeve out of fucking nowhere and shit like that. So, I think right now, unfortunately, what we have brewing is just a major disaster, and I think it's going to come crashing down on us, and it's going to come crashing down on us super fast. Um, in other words, in the first game against the Ravens this year, we'll start to really, see it. And I don't think he's going to get his full 5-year contract, but he'll probably get 2 to 3 years before he finally gets fired. And again, like I would normally advocate for him to have the full 5 years, but despite his football decisions, right? No matter how bad his football decisions are, I was going to give him the full 5 years because that's what I think a regime deserves, every regime. But he's coupling his bad football decisions with bad personal choices. And, like I said, he lost a ton of respect from me when, with his approach to the Kenny Stills thing. I just think it's a giant fucking mess. And I just don't foresee it getting any better. I only see it getting worse. Then you have in the additional context of, we're about to get hit by a fucking hurricane, right? So we have the first preseason game, the first regular season game coming up, which is against the Ravens, and it is a home game. So, and our first 2 games of the year, matter of fact, are home games. But that could be drastically impacted by this upcoming hurricane. So just even more disaster. I'm telling you, man. Like people don't, a lot of people don't want to listen to the things that I got to say. A lot of people want to fucking try and shit on me and hate on me for it. But I'm telling you, man, I'm going to be proven right.
Where did you notice it the most that there was something special here with the Saints?
Yeah, I totally agree with you, man. And Cameron Wake is a guy that I would have made every effort to keep on the team this year. That was one of the major things that I disagreed with how they handled. I would not have let Cameron Wake go. Yeah, me too. I hope everybody's all right. Fortunately, the Dolphins, and the players and stuff, even if the players themselves are not particularly wealthy at this point, the Dolphins have the resources to be able to take care of the people, the players and their families. And to give Ross credit on something, he proved this a couple years ago when it was the case. He will pay for not only the players but their families to get out of Dodge and to get into safety. So, credit there. I don't think that is too much of an issue. I think everybody will be safe. Obviously they're still going to have to deal with the fact that their homes and stuff are going to get battered by a hurricane, and have to deal with the fact that they're still going to have like friends and possibly extended family that isn't going to be able to get moved with the team and stuff like that, because it's only immediate family. So there is always that concern.
It was, hey, did you give your best effort? If you did, we can live with that because we come here to see you guys go as hard as you can go on Sunday, and they were appreciative of that. And for me, I said, wow.
So it looks like this is probably where our last field goal is going to come in, the last points of the game from us.
The Super Bowl, you go around town and fans wouldn't say congratulations, they'd say thank you.
Yes.
There's a bond where they feel like there's ownership and participation.
That's one thing I do like about Ross is that he contributes. When it comes to football, it does not work. I wish he could have both, but fortunately that is not the case. Absolutely. Like I said, dude, I think that when I've talked about Stephen Ross now for a while, it's always been like this. He's done wonderful things in the community, right? The Dolphins do so much charity work. That's great. Ross obviously has a hand in that. So credit there. He rebuilt the stadium out of his own money, and he believes that, at least from his comments, his public comments, that he believes that the owners should be the ones to pay for the stadiums, not the taxpayers. I love that. Absolutely love that. And that's wonderful. But when it comes to his football decisions, he's proven he's incapable. And I gave him so much credit. I thought that the hiring of Adam Gase was finally the turnaround in his decision-making abilities. But then what do? he fired him prematurely, in my opinion. I would have given him at least one more year to see if he could turn things around, right the ship, and get us back to the 2015. Was it 15? No, the 2016, excuse me, team that made it to the playoffs, right? Because I think because in year 2 and in year 3, we had such terrible years because of things that were absolutely not in Adam Gase's control. Dude, these trade rumors are heating up that we're going to trade for Clowney, and I don't like that, man. I swear to God, if they trade... All right, so good question about Rosen. So with Rosen, it's on a commercial right now, and I'm actually going to let it go on this commercial and talk about this. So, look, Rosen, I've said this. I believe that he is a pretty good quarterback. He's got a lot of potential, and he could be a good quarterback in this league. I don't think he's going to be Miami's franchise quarterback. I don't think he's going to be in Miami more than a couple years, and I don't think that he's in a situation and to succeed right now. He's going to end up having a terrible offensive line. He's going to have Ryan Fitzpatrick ahead of him. As I've been saying, Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to be the starter, which, of course, is the case. He's going to be the starter until he either gets hurt or underperforms, which will take 2 or 3 weeks at least into the season, and then they'll put Rosen out there. But Rosen's not going to have any success either because the offensive line is going to be so atrocious that he's going to because he does have some pretty significant flaws, like his ability to make proper reads, his body language and being set, when he makes throws. And those are things that he could work on and overcome, absolutely. But it's not going to happen here because he's not being given any favors. He's not really been given any help. I think that we have a lot of talent in the wide receiver room, running backs, and so on and so forth. I think our skill players are great, but that's not the problem. The problem is going to be the offensive line. It is going to break down. He's going to be drastically exposed when he does come in after Ryan Fitzpatrick takes a massive beating. Our offense is going to be putrid. Our defense is going to be the strong suit, but they are going to get overshadowed and worn. Their success will be overshadowed, and they are going to get worn down because the offense is inept. And then the team is going to suffer because we're going to lose games. And, we have a tough schedule. So, I think Rosen's overall a decent quarterback and stuff, but I don't think he's going to have success here, and then I don't think he's going to end up staying because odds are we're going to take a quarterback high in the draft next year, and then that's essentially going to, especially too with how Jake Ruddock is starting to perform well. I don't think Josh Rosen is going to last more than at most one more year with the Dolphins. But honestly, I think it's more likely that him and Fitzpatrick will not even be on the team next year. I think it's very likely that what happens is we take a quarterback in the first round next year. He's going to end up being the starter, and Jake Ruddock will be the backup. At this point, I think that's probably the most likely situation.
They ended up taking me, and here we are.
So, Bushy, question: was it the summer that you came?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Stephen Ross doesn't know what the fuck he's doing when it comes to football. I would not have traded Tannehill. Oh yeah, so first of all, I would have not done the massive purge that we did. I would have done absolutely everything in my power to make sure we kept Cameron Wake. I would have done everything in my power to make sure that we kept Juwan James. I would not have traded Ryan Tannehill. I would have kept him. I would not have picked up Ryan Fitzpatrick. I would not have traded for Josh Rosen, giving away draft capital this year, our second round pick, right? Because we essentially took Rosen in the second round this year after he was a first round pick last year. But then we gave away draft capital for next year as well. I would not have taken him. I would have kept Ryan Tannehill, and I would have done the draft totally different. I would have gotten Garrett Bradbury with our first round pick, especially because there was a massive run on defensive linemen in the first round before our pick. So I would not have taken a defensive lineman. That's nothing bad on Christian Wilkins. I think he's a good kid. I think he's got a lot of potential. but I think he's going to be wasted on a mediocre to terrible team. But I would have taken Garrett Bradbury, who did not get picked until pick number 17 by the Vikings. I would have taken him in the first round. You would have had your center for years to come and a solid skeleton there for the offensive line with Tunsil, Garrett Bradbury, and Juwan James. I would have kept Tannehill as the quarterback, as your veteran, proven veteran, the dude you drafted, and then I would have gotten a defensive lineman in round 2, and then I would have picked up quarterback Will Grier in round 3. Based off of where we picked and where he got picked, we absolutely could have got him. So I would have done things totally different. Totally different. That's why I'm saying, like, everything that this team has done in my evaluation has set themselves up for failure this year and failure for the future. Like, you know, a big part of their argument is that they're trying to do things for long-term success. But, like, it just – everything that they've done, the vast majority of things that they've done logically does not point in that direction. It points to immediate failure, which is going to lead to a lot more change. It's going to lead to a lot more flux and so on and so forth. And then it's going to end up being long-term failure as well. And then I'm telling you, this regime is not going to have, you know, not going to be in power. And like I said, normally under most circumstances, I would say that a regime deserves a 5-year window. And if the evaluation was purely on the football decisions, no matter how bad the football decisions were, I would still say that, you know, although trading Tunsil would be, especially if you trade Tunsil for Clowney, I don't give a fuck if you get a first-round pick with him. Like, that's just a terrible move for so many reasons. So many reasons. And if they did that, that would be a pretty, like, irreversible football decision. But despite that, I've said it, you know, said it before, if we went, you know, 0-16 for the next 3 years, I would still say that they deserve, you know, a full 5-year window. However, when you add in the fact that I believe that Brian Sellout, I'm going to start calling him that now. No, Brian Flores is being a sellout with how he handled the Kenny Stills situation and how he decided to back Donald Trump or Stephen Ross over Kenny Stills. I think that lost him not just a lot of respect with me, but the players on the team. And so, especially considering Kenny Stills is such a highly respected player. So I don't even think that he's going to have support from the players, which is going to end up leading to his you know, demise as a head coach of the Miami Dolphins as well. So I just think that there is so much evidence, overwhelming evidence, that we're only going to see more chaos and more bad things from this team and from this organization.
You guys take care of yourself post-football. Exchange, what are you, 50 pounds less?
Yeah, from the top.
Right.
Probably 65.
Oh, wow. Really?
That's the goal, man. You know, I don't want to continue to be
How much do you weigh?
I'm teetering 310 and under, so you know we're headed in the right direction. I went on vacation.
310 and under?
I went on vacation. I was about 303. I came back on vacation. I was 312.
312
It's depressing when we had 2 coaches for 30 years and then we go through 10 coaches the next 20. Yeah, we need a decent line, which has been bad for Rob Lee 2008. Special teams has always been great, especially under Gase. I like what he had planned. Yeah, but keep in mind also, we lost Darren Rizzi in the offseason. So our special teams has been amazing in large part because of him, and now we don't even have Darren Rizzi on the team.
There's a flag on the play. Coming up.
Dude, I really thought that, you know, the Adam Gase regime was the one, man. I really did think that was the regime that was going to get us turned around. But nope. Stephen Ross decided to go ahead and cut the legs out before, you know, it had a real chance. And it's just like, so, you know.
Another thing that I noticed was Taysom Hill sitting in the pocket, not scrambling. Very, very interesting.
God, man, we had everything, man. I mean,
I want to see growth. I want to see that he can sit in the pocket.
It didn't make any sense. Year 2, every problem that we could have had happen in year 2 of Adam Gase did happen. We had the hurricane and the displacement, an AWOL linebacker. We had, our starting quarterback wasn't in. We had to resort to fucking Cutler because he was the best option. He was not the best option. Colin Kaepernick would have been the best option. But for political reasons, that didn't happen, and then so we have all these problems. We had to fire our coach because he was snorting coke, blah blah blah, all that shit, right? Every possible thing that could happen did happen. That was not Adam Gase's fault. He didn't make those things happen. He couldn't have foreseen those things, right? And then in year 3, we saw at the beginning of the year, he had the team and the players in place. We had a damn good offensive line. We had a good quarterback. We had the offensive weapons that we needed. He was employing the offense in a very creative way that was creating explosive plays for us. The defense was playing really good, right? Like we had all the but just injury after injury after injury. But again, not Adam Gase's fault. I believe that Adam Gase got fired off of things that were completely out of his control. I think that team was certainly at the very least headed in the direction of the 2006 more along the lines of the 2016 team as opposed to the 17 and 18 teams. I think that those were just and again, we did so well and had such exceeded expectations so much in year 1 that of course there's a reasonable coming back down to earth effect after that, right? You're not obviously gonna fucking exceed all expectations, especially because expectations were set so high in year 2. You're not gonna succeed or exceed expectations so highly at that point. But he got fired for things that just were not in his control, man. But he had it going in the right direction. And then so let's juxtapose a little bit more, right? So after Adam Gase got fired, you had players coming out like Kenny Stills supporting him, like Albert Wilson being like, if you just gave him one more year, we would have proven what a genius he was. But now juxtapose that to Brian Flores and the things that are going on. There are reports that the team could fucking riot if he traded Tunsil. Riot if he traded Tunsil. That's a stark difference. Adam Gase had players and coaches lined up outside of his office to wish him well and so on and so forth afterwards. From my evaluation, Brian Flores is losing the team because of how he approached the Kenny Stills situation. Rizzy was a great contributor to that as well. Gase, I believe, was a great hire, knew he was working well with so little. Absolutely. Of course, fair-weather Dolphins fans don't help either the negative mentality of our fan base. Absolutely. And the fan base was a big contributor to why Gase got fired, because they ignore context, they ignore reality. They just started putting all this undue blame on him for the most, ridiculous, like trivial shit, and for things that were completely out of his control. Right? So, but the fan base was part of that. They started clamoring for his fucking firing in year 3 and stuff like that. And I believe that absolutely had a major effect.
I don't like it either.
God, I'm so frustrated, dude. It's so annoying and so frustrating. The way people just act so illogically, man. But it's because they don't live in reality. They ignore truth, they ignore logic, they ignore reason, they ignore facts and data and context. And it's mind-boggling and frustrating. I can't fucking get around it. Anyway, so there's 13 and a half minutes left in this game in the fourth quarter. It's 16-13. Obviously, we already know that there's going to be no more score. So the Dolphins defense is going to hold them here. They're probably going to go for it on 4th down, and we're still going to hold them because they didn't even get a field goal. Honestly, though, it's already fucking almost 10 o'clock here. I think I'm going to end up making my post-game video. I am going to watch the rest of this game. I think I am going to make my post-game video tomorrow. They want the next Don Shula, Dan Marino now, and it takes time. Yeah, absolutely. But you know what, though? I thought Adam Gase had that potential, man. I thought he had that potential. I thought he could have been. And Don Shula even endorsed him, too. Don Shula was like, yeah, this dude's going to fucking do great things. I fucking hate Stephen Ross at this point, man.
It was the reception went to Shane Smith. Just couldn't get it inches away.
Dude, I thought Adam Gase and Ryan Tannehill had the thing, man. Although, again, you know, I think that one of the downsides or one of the hindrances of this team is I personally disagree when everybody says that, you know, Tannehill needed competition. He absolutely needed competition. So you gotta make sure that you bring in guys that because Ryan Tannehill had the kind of work ethic that he doesn't need competition. Does that mean competition's bad? No. Competition's always good, of course. But I don't think that Ryan Tannehill ever needed competition. It wasn't a necessity for him. Would it be a bonus and help him develop? Sure. But it wasn't a necessity because of his work ethic and the way he approaches things, right? But one of the major mistakes is that I believe that teams should draft a quarterback every single year, but should never draft a quarterback in the first or second round and should never trade up to get a quarterback. You should take one in the third round or later every year, depending on what, you know, your actual need is. So with Ryan Tannehill, let's say this past draft, if we still had Ryan Tannehill and Jake Rudock, they could have easily taken a quarterback in like round 5 or 6, just as a developmental guy, and then just take one every year after that. So that way you always have fresh blood. You can find that diamond in the rough, like Tom Brady. I know it is hard that it's out of control. Yeah, dude. I wish that I could be the owner of the Dolphins. I really do. I'm not perfect. I'm flawed. I'm sure I would make plenty of mistakes, but I really feel like I could do this team justice, man. I really do believe that I could this is speaking very highly of myself. But I really believe that, you know, I have the type of mind, the logical approach to things, you know, and God damn it, I don't ignore truth. I don't ignore context and data and reality and shit. I believe that I could steer this franchise in the right direction. And so it is really frustrating. And especially too, because a lot of the stuff that I say, man, it proves to end up coming true. And I'm telling you, man, I'm going to get proven right this year. And I'm going to get proven right over the next couple years or so, you know, with this regime and the things that I've been saying, man. But unfortunately, being right doesn't really get you anything in the world that we live in.
Offensive defense, and then on Wednesdays we do 7-on-7 against each other, and then on Thursdays and Fridays was our famous Friday red zone. That competition was priceless.
Man, this is just.
It didn't matter what anyone ran, so long as we were playing hard, fast.
Hope to get a draft steal. Most successful quarterbacks to be in second or third rounds. A lot of first rounds end up being busts. Yeah, absolutely, and that's another aspect, right? We've seen time and time again. It's far more likely that a first-round quarterback is going to either just be mediocre or not, you know, or just be average rather, or, you know, end up busting, right?
In my years here, I haven't seen.
It's far more likely.
You guys are on the inside, but it's focused.
No, but dude, I'm telling you, watch, mark my words. This regime, after we have a super shitty year, right? I bet you anything. I will stake fucking money on it. I don't have any money, so I can't. But I would stake money on it that this regime is going to once again neglect and ignore the offensive line, and then they're going to take a quarterback high in the draft next year, even if they got to move up a spot or two or a few spots to get him. I almost virtually guarantee that they will take either Tua Tagovailoa or Justin Herbert in the draft next year high in the first round, neglect the offensive line again, and, you know, then our, you know, shiny new toy is just going to get his ass fucking handed to him behind a shitty offensive line. Watch, dude. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. You don't. In my experience, my evaluation, you don't take a quarterback above round 3.
To be successful, that's what makes it great.
Just use the first round pick for a player that can fill in the holes in your team to make the team better, not a quarterback every time. And yeah, absolutely. People put way too much hype and emphasis on the quarterback position. This is not a one-player game, right? It's 11 fucking people on the field at a time, right? So you need all 11 of those players to perform well. But additionally, not only just that, but it's not all the quarterback. You can have the best quarterback in the world ever, and if he's got a super terrible offensive line, then he's going to look like an average guy. So, I mean, it starts in the trenches. I'm a firm believer that it starts in the trenches on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. Like last year, right? I admit we did not get anywhere near enough sacks, right? But I do believe that was in large part because of, the inability of the offense, considering we had so many injuries and we were just decimated, right? So they were getting tired and worn out and stuff. I think that had a lot to do with it. But, right, we didn't get a lot of sacks last year, but Xavier Howard tied for the league lead in interceptions. For a while, we led the league in interceptions. Why is that? Because we were getting pressure. We might not have been getting the sacks that we wanted, but see, that's an example of, how people just completely focus on just one thing, right? People hyper-focus on, like, one particular point without taking everything in full context, and they ignore other important details, that go into that factor in and that, help you to evaluate things properly. So a lot of people didn't even would just be like, oh yeah, we weren't getting sacks. Okay, but we were getting lots of pressures and we were getting tons of fucking interceptions. Like, yeah, team effort, too much of the quarterback these days. If a great team had a battle line, I'm sure the quarterback of that team would not. Exactly. I mean, like, it's mind-boggling. People to me are so fucking illogical. And I mean, just real quick to put it on a macro scale. I mean, look, we're burning the world. The rainforest right now is on fire. We literally might not even have a planet to live on because of the greed and the hate and the illogical fucking decisions that people make, right? And so, but I mean, it's all because of money, and it's all because of fucking, the way business is designed to maximize profits over, quality, over the care of employees and stuff like that, right? And that affects football too. The NFL has claimed to give a shit about player safety, but that's bullshit. They don't care about player safety. They only say it, but, they're so powerful that they don't actually have to do anything. They can say it all day, and that's as far as the conversation goes, right? They don't care about the quality of the game. Nah, they don't give two fucks about the quality of their game. They just want to make money. It's all about money. Money, 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 money. That's it. Nothing more. How much more can we line our pockets? It doesn't matter if it destroys the game. It doesn't matter if people are getting hurt because we make stupid rules that don't make any fucking sense, right? Like, it's fucking garbage, dude. It's total fucking garbage.
And this is an interesting time.
And it's just a giant catastrophe, man. All from the top, literally the top down, starting from the NFL, right, with the way that they handle things, and then when we get talking about the Dolphins, Stephen Ross needs to fucking sell the team. I'm completely done with him. Brian Flores is about on the thinnest ice he could possibly be on with me. Awesome jersey. Say that. Love when we wear. Or yeah, wish we stopped changing logos and focused on the team instead of how we look. Stadium. Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree. But thanks. I appreciate it. It's my Ryan Tannehill Color Rush jersey. And speaking of him, though, so Ryan Tannehill is performing so well on the Titans that he stands a solid chance of usurping Marcus Mariota and being the quarterback.
I love it. Taysom Hill has sat in the pocket.
Not only that, but Adam Gase, too, is looking like he might have a really successful year with the Jets, and I think that's probably going to be the case. Dude, man, it's fucking stupid. From the moment that Stephen Ross fired Adam Gase, everything has just been straight downhill. Straight downhill. There have been like one or two little minor ticks in the positive direction, and that was, the signing of Xavier Howard and Jakeem Grant to long-term extensions. That's pretty much about it. Everything else has been just, an extreme disaster. From all of the players that they let go to how they handled the fucking draft to, all of these controversies that are now coming up within the team, right? How Brian Flores handled the Kenny Stills situation. Not only that, but there's been some drama with Minka Fitzpatrick, and his mom was saying, oh, they're using him wrong and blah, blah, blah. And so there's a little bit of animosity with that, right? Like, it's just disaster after disaster after disaster, and it's only going to keep getting worse because they can't make fucking good, sound decisions from Stephen Ross to Brian Flores. And I'm super trying to give Brian Flores, the benefit of the doubt. If he traded Tunsil or Stills, either one of those guys, if he trades either one of them for Jadeveon Clowney, he will have lost me completely with his football decision-making abilities. And if he trades Kenny Stills or cuts Kenny Stills, he will have lost me on a personal, 100% from a personal standpoint too. So when it comes to how I view Brian Flores as a professional football wise, and from a personal standpoint, he's on about as thin as ice as he can be right now. I agree, and knowing that it was out of the hands of the team when we trade great talent mid-season, having to get used to a new system is annoying. Yeah, absolutely, man. We also need to stop hiring coaches and players from our division. I find it old and annoying. Yeah, absolutely. Because look, at the end of the day, right? So, I think that it was more of like an optics thing, really, than anything, right? I think it had to do with, we wanted to take, we wanted to steal away this prominent up and coming coach from our division rival than it was, making the best sound decision for the team. Because again, if they wanted to make the best sound decision for the team, they just wouldn't have fired Adam Gase, right? Year 2 and 3 were down years because of things not in Gase's control, not at all in Gase's control, right? So, he should have been given another year to prove that he could get things back to what happened in year 1 as opposed to fucking what happened in year 2. Right? Because look, if you look at it, in year 1, there was minimal adversity, right? Not a lot happened. There was a new coaching staff and stuff like that, but they did not do a massive purge. The team, for the most part, was the same, right? As far as the players go, right? But he took it just kind of like an average team and took them to the playoffs, exceeded expectations, right? Adam Gase got rid of talent too, yes. But why did he get rid of that talent? You got to look at the reasons why he got rid of that talent. Who did he get rid of? Let's see. He got rid of Jarvis Landry. He got rid of Jay Ajayi, right? He got rid of Ndamukong Suh. Those guys were guys that were selfish players that, thought about themselves over the team constantly, right? Who were, bitching and moaning and complaining. They were divas because they weren't getting their way. All those things, right? He got rid of bad attitudes. And look, Jay Ajayi, what has he done since then? Nothing, right? There were legit concerns over his knees and stuff like that. And he hasn't fucking done shit since he left here. In fact, he's only gotten hurt again. Jarvis Landry, he didn't do much with the Browns last year. He'll probably do a lot more with the Browns this year, but that's because the Browns are going to be a powerhouse and they are stacked with talent from top to bottom. Let's see. Who else? And Ndamukong Suh hasn't done, shit since then, pretty much. He's bounced around to a couple teams now. That was a bad contract that left. We're still being affected by his contract. We lead the league in dead money this year at $44 million because of that contract, right? So getting rid of him was a smart decision. Was Adam Gase perfect? No. But I think that him and that, coaching staff and the team that he was building, the culture that he was setting, and so on and so forth, I'm telling you, man, that was the right path. We are on the wrong path now.
Long way to go, but only down by
bullshit, dude. There's no evidence to say that the players hated fucking Gase. The only players that talked shit about him were the players that left. Everybody else spoke fucking, and that's because they were fucking, just sour about the fact that, he didn't fucking keep them on the team. That's fucking ridiculous. And there's a lot more evidence to the contrary. When Adam Gase got fired, he had coaches and players lined up outside of his office to say, wish him the best and say sorry that he got fired. That's total bullshit. The players did not hate Gase. The players loved Gase. Absolutely loved Gase. Kenny Stills tweeted out immediately in his support afterwards. Albert Wilson tweeted out immediately after his firing in support, saying that if you just gave him another year, we'd be able to see what a genius he was, right? But you juxtapose that to what's going on now with Brian Flores. There are reports that and I do admittedly, I find it highly unlikely, although at this point you never know with these guys because you just can't seem to fucking figure out what they're going to do, but you never know. But I do find it highly unlikely that he would trade Tunsil, but there are reports that there would be riots amongst the players if they traded Tunsil in this little trade deal that seems to be heating up with the Texans for Jadeveon Clowney. If the team really supported Brian Flores, then there wouldn't be rumors about that. Dude, whatever. Look, man, I'm sorry, but you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You just don't know what you're talking about. And you'll get proven wrong. It's okay. You can feel that way. You do have that right to have your opinion, but you're going to be proven wrong. Adam Gase is going to have a wonderful year with the Jets. Ryan Tannehill is going to have a wonderful year as the starting quarterback of the Titans. And we're going to have a super terrible year. Yeah, absolutely, Steve. I mean, that's the case. There's the saying that the fish rots from the head down. And it started with Stephen Ross. He needs to go. He needs to not be the owner of the Dolphins anymore because he has proven to be inept at making football decisions. He finally made the right one with Adam Gase, and then didn't even let that fucking have a chance to flourish and to bloom. He cut that shit way too short. And for reasons that were just stupid and illogical, reasons that were based on things that were not in any way Adam Gase's control or fault. It's fucking stupid.
First miss for Taysom Hill. And it's a drop.
Watch, bro. I'm telling you, man. Look, I've already been proven right on some things, though. Already the offensive line has been proving to be not good in the preseason. I've already been proven right that they're going to start with Ryan Fitzpatrick to start the season, and that Josh Rosen wasn't going to be able to fucking, overcome him. I've even been proven right about Tannehill to some degree already because he's already been, all the reports that I've seen so far says that he's performing well enough that he could even, possibly overstep Marcus Mariota.
Exactly. The Cowboys are a different team when Zeke.
No, they did not get rid of Mike Tannenbaum. They reassigned him. So as far as I know, he still does work for the Dolphins organization, just not in any like major decision-making role. As far as I know, I don't know. For all I know, they could still be taking his advice because they have like 15 people in the front office now that apparently are giving, advice, right? And that's another thing, right? A lot of people bitch and complain because they're like, oh, there are too many heads in the decision-making room. And then people started giving Stephen Ross a lot of credit for having trimmed down the number of people. But then, he brings in, so it started off being Stephen Ross and Brian Flores, but then, and Chris Greer as the GM, but then they started bringing all these other other consultants or whatever their fucking positions are and shit like that, to be additional voices. And then they ended up having more voices in the room than they did last year. And who knows, Tannenbaum still could be part of that. Why the disrespect? I'm not trying to be disrespectful, bro, but I'm saying, like, you're just not right. I'm not being disrespectful because I'm saying you're wrong. I mean, first of all, that particular point of my phrasing is my perspective. It is my perspective that you're wrong. Now, I believe that that is going to be proven in the results that we see, but I'm sorry that you don't like that I disagree with you. I'm not being disrespectful just because I disagree with you. I'm not saying Chris Greer doesn't deserve blame. He does. Absolutely. He's part of the regime that's making these decisions. On the flip side, nah, bro, the team was not. But see that again. That's why, because you're just not right about that. The team was not a mess before Brian Flores became coach. We had a couple down years because of extraneous circumstances that we had no control over. How are we supposed to? Really, bro? Do you think that Adam Gase could have stopped the hurricane? Seriously. Does he have the ability and power to stop a hurricane from ravaging Florida, which again could happen this year? So we might have to deal with that again this year. But does Adam Gase have the ability to stop a hurricane? No, absolutely not. Does he have the ability to prevent missing a bye week and having to play 16 straight games? No, that was on the NFL. He had no control over that. They tried to get the London game canceled, right? They tried to do things, but the NFL refused, right? He has no control over that. Does he have a control over Lawrence Timmons going AWOL? No, he couldn't have foreseen that at all, but it happened. Could he have foreseen that his offensive line coach was going to have to be fired because of snorting coke? No, it's illogical and unreasonable. Even the argument of, well, you should have known. Why? Why should he have known that? What would there be? What reason would there be, right? What reason would he have had in the hiring process to be like, hey, you know what? Do you have a coke addiction problem? That's absolutely ludicrous. There's no way he could, but that happened. And then last year, it was nothing but injury after injury after injury. But he proved to everybody that the team that he built and put into place. Bro, are you serious? Really? The dude just fucking cut TJ McDonald. What do you mean? How much fucking does Flores have power? Are you serious? He just cut TJ McDonald for no reason. I think Chris Greer is probably, he's part of this whole thing, but I think he's probably one of he's the farthest from the standout problem. That's ridiculous. Stephen Ross is the fucking main problem with this team. Stephen Ross is the number one problem with this team. Point blank, bottom line, period. And I'm sorry, but this coaching staff and this regime is not much better, if at all.
And it goes to Traven Durrell, second tour of duty. He's been here before.
And you could see the clock in Taysom's head was going off. He knew.
Yeah, so I mean, this game's only got a minute and 47 or a minute and 40 seconds left, so it's almost over.
Started back the Saints 19. Taysom Hill.
I mean, look, dude, I'm not trying to be like disrespectful, but when you say things that are just like not rooted in reality, I'm sorry. Like, how much power does Flores have over the roster? A lot, a ton. It couldn't be more obvious. He has tremendous power over the roster. I mean, from the get-go, what do you mean? You know, all the players that he let go or cut, right? All of the fucking, the way he's, you know, the way he handled the draft. Why is Stephen Ross the problem? Because Stephen Ross is the problem because he has proven since the time that he's been here, or since the time that he became majority owner, that he can't make sound football decisions. And for me, I'm 100% done with Ross because of his support of Donald Trump. Not only am I convinced he can't make a sound football decision, but now I have a personal problem with him on top of that. But even if you set the personal problems aside, which are pretty significant ones, pretty significant problems, but even if you set that aside, he can't make a sound football decision to save his life. He's inept. He just can't do it.
Right. And we don't know the pain he's experienced.
There is a real pressure, external pressure that says
he just doesn't have the capability, right? You know, he can do good things, you know, in real estate. Sure, okay. But he's not a fucking he's not fit to be, you know, leading a football franchise if what you expect is that he's going to lead them to greatness. He can't do it. It's not possible. He doesn't have it in him. He needs to sell the team.
That leads to Hill going inside the 20 to the 15. Out of bounds. First and goal, I believe.
And I agree with you.
All right, well, we obviously know the Dolphins' fucking defense holds them. There's 1 minute and 11 seconds left in the fourth quarter, and it's 16-13. We obviously know the Saints didn't score anything else after this.
You can't. This is not a sport where you can play if you're not 100% committed.
Good point.
And it's fortunately or unfortunately been a sport that as it's evolved.
All right. Anyway, like I said, though, I'm gonna make my post game video tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow's Friday. I'll do it like first thing when I wake up and stuff like that, so I can get it out of the way and get it for you guys. I'm gonna do it tomorrow because it's already getting late and stuff. It's already after 10 o'clock here, and I can't stay up too late tonight. But so I will do that tomorrow.
Taking an onus on worrying about themselves and their health.
And this, so you know, this game's almost over, but I do got a lot to say about it, and so you know, make sure you guys do check out that video or whatever.
You have CTE, things of this nature, like you want to have your health.
And for so long, the adage has been, it's not until after your career.
Look, man, and I'll just say once again, I wish that it wasn't like this. I hope that they can prove me wrong and so on and so forth, but I mean, the evidence, the data, the information is overwhelming. Like, it's just overwhelming.
To heal up on some of my injuries, as opposed to just going out there and, again, that gladiator mentality, play while you're hurt and play through it. I wish I would have rested and got the proper.
All right.
On 2nd and 5, it's dropped by Jack West Rogers.
That could have been a touchdown, too. He did a nice route. He veered inside, fake, pivoted right back out, one-on-one with the linebacker. He just had to catch it and run. It would have been a touchdown.
So now 3rd down. They can still get a first and goal inside the 1. As they have placed it at the 11.
All right, come on. Under a minute left to go. Let's go.
The other part was the fans booing. And I didn't understand how you justify why the fans were booing. Because
I do wish there wasn't so much personal stuff that Ross was involved with. If I was owner, I'd keep my thoughts to myself, being introverted, but with football talk, football, yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing, right? And so that's going to be a major factor that plays into this season and over the next few years, and is going to be a major factor in, the fate of this regime. Is there's a lot of controversy brewing. There's a lot of controversy brewing. Absolutely, man. I appreciate that. And look, I don't mean to be like, I don't mean, but my biggest thing, like I said, man, my biggest thing is being rooted in reality, being rooted in the facts, not ignoring context, not ignoring important details and stuff like that, right? So, like, I just want to make sure, and that's why I do these videos. That's why I do this channel, because I want to make sure, because nobody else talks about the things that I talk about, you know? A lot of the things that I say, you know, are just fucking, and in fact, most people just fucking shit on me and hate on me and all that stuff because I say the truth that nobody wants to fucking, you know, acknowledge.
Respond to your questions. You'll hear from Sean Payton after the game as well. That's all coming up.
Yeah, man.
In just a moment.
You know, it's all good.
47 seconds.
It is all good.
All
right, 47 seconds left.
There are great expectations after a 13-3 season, and the heartbreak and the finishes of the last 2 years. So if this team stays healthy,
all right, 4th and 5. They're gonna go for it. They're obviously not gonna get it because the score did not change after this. And then I'm gonna guess that we probably just kneel. Good defensive play.
He was trying to find on the back line of the end zone. He was looking at Durrell.
Great coverage right there by the Dolphins. You see all the Dolphins are backing up into the end zone, and you know it's actually very similar of a match coverage that the Saints have been running the whole time. And
all right,
Taysom Hill trying to fit that ball in there. It was really good coverage. Very too small.
Disappeared.
Yeah.
And back to your point,
all right, so turnover on downs. Dolphins get it. I don't think Ross being friends with Trump makes him a bad person or a bad owner. I mean, you know, you could have that opinion, bro, but I do. The reason why I do is because Donald Trump is a racist. He's a bigot. He's a xenophobe. He's a misogynist. He's a downright terrible person to his core. But guess what? Donald Trump is also the president of the United States, and he has the ability to affect millions of people in this country and outside this country, and he is proving to drive this country into the dirt. So by Stephen Ross supporting him, right? It's not just the comment that he made, oh, you know, I'm not a racist, but his racism doesn't, you know, isn't a deal breaker for me. That's bad enough. But the fact that he openly supports, right, that he held a fundraiser for him, nah, I'm sorry. He is by proxy a racist. He is supporting a person with immensely racist, misogynist, bigoted policies. You know, the shit he's doing at the border, the Muslim ban, the rollbacks on fucking protections for LGBT people. Like, it's just absurd. So, yeah, I'm sorry, but Stephen Ross is, you know, I mean, look, if I'm just keeping it real, he's lost a lot of his credibility that he used to have, that I even defended him on time and time again. He's lost a ton of the credibility that he had. You know, you can disagree with me, man, but I mean, but as far as being an owner, no, that doesn't really necessarily have anything to do with his ownership of the team. But again, he's proven that he is inept at making football decisions. He just does not have the capability. He does not make sound football decisions. So from that regard, he is a bad owner. Although he is a good owner, to give him credit for doing the entire stadium rebuild out of his own money. I absolutely think that it should be the owners that do that. So he gets credit for that. And he does get the credit for all the individual acts that he's done in the community and all the community service. But that gets drastically overshadowed and negated by the fact that he supports a fundamentally despicable person, right? And why is it? Oh, let's think about that. He is a white male billionaire. Stephen Ross is a white male billionaire. Oh, and let's think. Did Stephen Ross benefit from the $2 trillion tax cut that Donald Trump did? Oh, you know what? He did. He benefited tremendously from that. His wealth drastically increased. And so, yeah, That's what Stephen Ross cares about. That's why he's a bad person, because he cares more about his profits than he cares about, disavowing from a person who is, an absolutely terrible person. So, yeah, Stephen Ross, in my opinion, at this point has devolved to a bad person and is not, an adequate owner for the Miami Dolphins. I agree that sports and personal life should not conflict. Although I don't get into politics, gives me a headache. I try not to dwell on that. I have my own opinions. Yeah, no, politics is tough. But look, unfortunately, Steve, the problem is that especially right now, especially with the climate. I mean, look, you look at the collective bargaining agreements, the NFLPA, right? There's a potential shutdown after the 2020 season if they can't come to agreements. If the players in the NFL can't come to agreements, right? So there's a potential shutdown. There's the whole NFL protesting thing that is an ongoing thing, especially with this team now, right? So unfortunately, and with the way that our system is designed, right? Because the NFL is a business, and by law, businesses, corporations have to maximize profits. That's it. They don't even have any secondary or tertiary responsibilities. Their only responsibility is to maximize profits for the CEOs, the executives, and the shareholders. That's it. And what we've seen is that it is to the detriment of the employees. It is to the detriment of the country and the economy, and even a detriment to the companies oftentimes, because a lot of those companies end up going bankrupt. But it doesn't matter, because the executives still get millions upon millions, if not billions, in bonuses and so on and so forth. It doesn't matter if they drive a company into the ground. They still get exceptionally wealthy. So my point is unfortunately, politics is part of everything, absolutely everything in life, even sports, and even, our leisurely things. Politics infects everything. So unfortunately, we can't get away from it. And I mean, look, especially, I mean, dude, you think that this drama is going to be, dude, seriously, CJ, like, that's what I'm saying. Kenny Stills should be traded. Why? Dude, he's not the one that caused that drama, though. So what? So you're saying to me that because a player is doing the right thing and standing up for, social justice in this country, that he should then be penalized for it? That's ridiculous. No. And that would be a move that crosses a line for me with Brian Flores. If Brian Flores cuts or trades Kenny Stills, he's done with me. He's absolutely done with me. Because then you're penalizing, you are being punitive against that guy, right? Nah, fuck that bullshit. That's total bullshit. Anyway, so I'm gonna wrap this up, guys. I do have other things that I gotta get to. I gotta eat dinner. I got, I'll probably start working on the my little post-game template and stuff. I make a little template up. You guys know how I do. I make sure to give you all the stats and stuff from the game. So I'll probably work on that tonight and stuff, but I'm not going to actually make the video until tomorrow. But, I do got things I got to get to. So I'm going to wrap this up. I do appreciate you guys jumping in here and having, the conversations with me and stuff. And I do apologize again, though, for being so late on this stream and everything. And I will make sure that, from here on out, I do get, my live streams will be during the game. So, we'll be watching the game together, and you'll be getting my live reactions as the game's going on, not after the fact. And again, just one more time, expect tomorrow to see my post-game video for this, leading up into the cut downs, and then the season. So I am going to be super fascinated though to see how this roster shapes up and whatever. So we'll be looking forward to that as well. But all right, guys, I am going to hop off of here. Like I said, I do appreciate you guys jumping in and conversing with me, even though it's like super late and everything. Hope dinner goes. I appreciate you wearing the old Reebok jersey. Yeah, no worries. As long as you should wear it again sometime. That was awesome. Yeah, I try and I switch them up, and I do wear it occasionally, so I will. Yeah, and I appreciate that. I have no idea what I'm gonna eat yet, but I'll figure it out. Anyway, so like I said, I'm gonna jump off here, guys. I will see y'all soon, and fins up, man.